In terms of predictions for the future, the retention periods are going to get greater in Europe. I think we'll see a consolidated approach from the European regulators, so moving out to a 5-year retention period. I think that in Europe they'll have some more prescriptive rules about how the data is retained, stored and made available. I think that's something that we'll see as part of the rules coming out for MiFID II. And then probably the third one, which might be the biggest one, is actually voice analytics. So the ability to analyse and search inside the call data. I think we'll definitely see that emerging for those banks that have the best compliance practices moving forward. I don't think we'll see it going mainstream yet, but we'll see some organisations taking it up and really becoming a definite tool inside the compliance officer's toolkit. Recent regulations really have focused some people on just achieving compliance with those rules. So I think in terms of the mindset, I think that's affected people. Probably the slightly bigger thing that's affected the mindset of all the organisations is the regulatory activity towards the investigations that are going on for the widespread market abuse that's been well reported. So the FX rates fixing, the LIBOR scandal as it's been titled, those items have made organisations that aren't part of that sit up and say, could we be tarred with that brush? Are we involved in areas of the market where we might want to just investigate and make sure that we've tightened our practices? Up until 2011 in the UK and 2013 in the rest of the world, many countries haven't required mobile phones to be recorded. So that's now come into place. People now have to record mobile phones in certain aspects of the financial markets. Those rules will only tighten as we see MiFID II come in. To take a step back, the best players in the street are the ones who have a very firm and clearly defined policy on how they communicate for business purposes. When you're talking about mobile, it's very much not just about the fanciest device, it's about how you're recording it, what you're doing with those recordings, and about making sure that you are capturing all of the communication that's taking place on those devices. The thing about compliance officers and voice recording, and what probably keeps them awake at night, is if they have to retrieve calls and they go to get those calls and they are not there, or there are no recordings, no voices in those calls, or if their system goes down and they lose calls, where they have to go and report that to the regulator, or they at least have to log the fact that they've lost calls. Myths and misconceptions around mobile recording. I think that it's difficult to do, number one. I think that it's actually quite easy to do now. Network integrated solutions are available today that allow you to almost seamlessly record, to have that data stored in secure cloud, or to have it pushed down to your in-house recorders. Number two, that it's expensive to achieve. So it's actually, the prices are now very reasonable in terms of the costs of doing that. And I think the third one, probably the final one, would be that the user experience is not good. The user experience is now almost seamless. It's the users get exactly the same experience as using a normal mobile phone. They don't have any degradation in the call quality. The connections work exactly the same way as you would with a normal mobile phone. And they're using the mobile network of their choice.